Secret's out, man. Music's my life. Secret's out.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm Damon Campbell with Music'sMyLife.com here at the Loft in Lansing, Michigan with a very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm DY. Pleasure to meet you, man.
Pleasure to meet you as well, man.
About you. I'm a supporter of the site, and you guys have been showing me love for a minute, so
Hell yeah.
you.
Appreciate that,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Appreciate your time. Now, for those who don't know, what's the significance of Public Enemy's It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back?
That was the first hip-hop album that I ever bought or listened to. Was given. I was actually given it to my older brother, and he used to play that nonstop. And it was funny because my parents were divorced, so my mom wouldn't like it. She'd be like, what do you listen to? You know, it's a little ahead of your time because it came out the year I was born.
Right.
So, at this point, I'm probably like 12. And then my dad, my older brother on my dad's side, so he grew up, he was used to it, so he was cool with it. So it was like when I was at my dad's house, I'd play it. At my mom's house, I wouldn't. And it was cool, man. And it was just a bunch of stuff. And that was like, from there, it was like, Slick Rick was around, but Flavor Flav really did it for me as far as, he had the style, he had the swag and stuff. So it was cool, man. That was like the first touch of hip hop I got in my life.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Man. And Public Enemy has, of course, a sense of rebelliousness about them. Speaking of which, the name DY actually comes from your days as a graffiti artist, right?
Indeed. I see you watch the Hangout video. You see
Yep.
Yeah, man. So when I was like 15, I probably started writing graffiti, and I wrote Dies, which was DYSE or Dies One or Dizer, everywhere. We had like graph crews and shit, and so I kind of got out of control with it a little bit. Like Hot Boy status, was on the news, like surveillance,
like in this room, for example.
Exactly. So there was on the news and stuff that were trying to find me and shit. I was like, man, I really have to find a way to hone my creative energies into something that's not illegal.
Right.
So I was right about the time I was going to college. I was a freshman. I was when I was 16, turning 17, and I was like, okay, let me take the creativity into music.
Definitely.
And I shortened it from Dies to DY. So. Man, it was crazy. It was cool. It was a turning point for sure.
Totally.
Yeah.
And Mule from Rabble Rousers, rest in peace, was actually the first person who kind of asked, what you were going to call yourself, right? And he was, a pretty big influence on you in general.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And that's great you brought that up, man. Rest in peace to my big bro. In Hawaii, I talk about him. I say, Sam, may he rest in peace. I always looked up to him, and now he's looking down on me. So my big bro Sam, a.k.a. Mule, man, one half of the Rabble Rousers, Day One Media, he wrote PST, rep the RA crew, and which is a legend, man. He was the first person that really supported me. He had a show on the Urban Diner in Morgantown, West Virginia, WVU's radio.
Oh, okay.
And it was 91.7 FM, the Urban Diner, and he gave me my first radio gig. So he gave me a slot on there.
That's crazy.
And I was on there Saturday nights DJing that. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna start rapping, man. He was like, cool, man. He was like, that's cool, Dies.
Yeah.
And now he was like, what you gonna call yourself? And I was like, man, I don't know. So that was when I kind of went home, and I was like, how you have a little board with ideas,
right?
And you
totally.
go cross off stuff, and I was
yeah.
and then DY was the one that came of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, man, I got a name. I'm gonna go by DY. And he was like, cool, man, cool.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so he was an MC, an artist, and he was just an overall great dude, and he passed away a few years ago. So it's everything's dedicated to him and shit. So
absolutely.
Yeah, man.
And now here you are on your first big headlining tour. Your first show, though, wasn't it actually at 123 Pleasant Street?
It was, man. My first show was in Morgantown, West Virginia, 123 Pleasant Street, 2005.
Wow.
I was 17. I had to sneak in the back to get in because they were checking IDs. And I wore a 3X tall tee from Complex. It said graffiti changed my life.
Yeah.
And I remember being up on stage with my homie, and there were fans who came out, and I think I even had my homegirls do a little dance or two. It was wild, man. So it's cool, and it's been an evolution, from the music to the style to the fashion to everything since then, man. And we actually did a 123 show right as DFY dropped in August, and we sold it out, and it was
awesome.
Really cool to know. It's that's the staple kind of it's the Loft in Lansing.
Absolutely.
It's 123 in Morgantown, and it was incredible, man.
That's awesome,
yeah,
man. And with the graffiti background, it seems like I imagine that it kind of helps you even spot other people's tags. Like, for example, didn't you actually notice Taylor Swift's signature on your dressing room wall a little while back?
I did, man. I did. We were in Charleston, West Virginia, which is my hometown, at the Civic Center. DJ E-Train and I were hosting my alma mater's prom. So we were giving back the money to the school's music department and stuff. And it was funny. Taylor Swift had signed the dressing room. It was like dressing room A. And she had signed it like Taylor Swift, Fearless 2009. And I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan.
Oh, yeah.
I would like date her. She's amazing. And she signed it, and I was just like, this is the illest tag ever.
Yeah.
So it was cool, man.
That's crazy, man.
Absolutely.
And then while you were in high school, I understand that you would kind of mess around freestyling at lunch while your buddy beatbox.
Yeah. That's how it started out, man. My homie J-Dub, Justin Withrow, Catch Up, he's in Columbus now. But, man, we would skate. All we would do is skateboard and write graffiti. And so basically we were just like, hoodlum kids. Like, we would just like go around and fuck shit up.
Yeah.
And he would just beatbox. We'd be outside of the movie theater, skating in the bank of BB&T parking lot, bank parking lot, and he would just like, and I like, yo, da da da, and we just like goof off, And we had we went to house parties and freestyle battle and stuff, and it was cool. And it's like, it's all been a constant evolution.
Yeah.
Which is really cool, man. So shout out my dog J-Dub. Yeah, man.
And then while you were in college at WVU, didn't you actually make like a documentary of some sort about your freestyling?
I think
for like a film class?
Yes. Wow. Okay, I'm impressed now. Okay, yes. So for my film class, we made, it was like a mini documentary. It was like we had a show and we did some freestyling and stuff. And my homie Scotty, shout out to Scotty, he filmed it. And so we had 3 or 4 people in this group in this film class, and they were like, basically, you get extra credit if you make your own short film or documentary. Okay, so I'm like, guys, I got this. There was like 3 of us. It was like 2 hot chicks and like 1 random dude. I was like, I got this. My dude's editing a video for me anyways.
Yeah.
We're going to slap our names on and call it a day. And of course, we got like a standing applause in the class and an A+ on the bonus credit. And nobody did shit. So that's, shout out to my dude Scotty for that. But yeah, it was cool. It was the beginning of documenting stuff.
Yeah, and then in terms of, starting to take it seriously and everything, it specifically goes back to the A section of Borman Hall South.
Absolutely, man. So that's great, man. He's definitely did his research. So we were Borman Hall, so it's Borman South and Borman North at WVU. Borman North is all girls.
Yep.
Borman South is co-ed. And the reason why it was cool is because it was the only dorm on campus that had its own access. Like, you had a key to get in outside, and you went up in your key to apartment. There was no cars. There was no front desk. It was basically like you had your own apartment.
Yeah.
So it was the most desirable on campus.
Absolutely.
And they put everyone who was from West Virginia, like the hometown kids, there. So being from Charleston, me and the homies, we had like A entry, B entry, E entry, F entry, like all locked down.
Yeah.
And it was super cool, man. So, we were there, and it was wow. We would sneak into Borman Hall North,
really?
COD and stuff. So yeah, man, that's where it started. Yeah,
that's tight, man. And then the first song that you ever wrote, which I believe was actually in that dorm room, was to a Jay-Z instrumental.
It was. I forget which. That's really crazy. I don't even remember speaking on that recently. Okay, I don't remember what Jay-Z instrumental was, but I just remember sitting in my dorm room like late at night, and it was cool because you walked into my dorm, and there was a big room, and then there was like a little room. So you're supposed to have like bunk beds in the back room and your shit here. So
okay.
The way we did it is we walked in, we had a wraparound full couch, I had a desk, a TV, a bed, and then my other roommate, he had his own bed, and then went to the bathroom. So we pretty swagged out place.
You're right, sounds like it.
And I think we got the couch at like a Goodwill or something. We just like squeezed in there, but it was cool. And I remember I'd be up at night, and he'd be sleeping, and I'd just be all night. I had like Fruity Loops. I used to be on Fruity Loops all night. Fruity Loops, and I had like Ableton or Sonic or some random thing I don't even remember. And I was writing to like Jay-Z instrumentals and just stuff, and just getting inspired. And my roommate would come in and be like, yo, dude, can you like keep it down, man? Like, I know you want to be like this big rap star,
right.
but like, I got to get up for math class.
Yeah.
So it was cool, man. That was the beginning. And now, still to this day, I'm in my room. I'm like zoned out in my room and blah. And
that's
so, yeah,
sweet.
cool.
And then speaking of Jay, I know you have a line that goes, I'm Jay-Z meets Jay Christ meets Jay Leno meets Jay Crew.
Yeah, man.
And from your song Shoot 'em McGavin, and in the video there's this jacket that you're wearing that
Yes, sir.
it seems which you're also wearing in the Flattery video.
Yes, sir.
And it seems like everyone wants to know, what kind of jacket that is.
Yeah.
So for those still wondering, it's a Zara jacket?
Yeah, man, it's a Zara jacket. Zara's a cool place, man. It's like Zara and H&M are the places that have, I feel like, it's hit or miss. Like sometimes I'll have great pieces, and I'm all about shopping like affordably and shit. So like everything you see, it's like you've noticed I've worn this jacket a lot. It's because this is quality shit,
Yeah.
So everything I try to find shit that's gonna last. So that was one thing where I looked at it, I was like, wow, like this is crazy. Like it looks like some polo shit, some
Right.
double RL. So I bought it, man, and everybody for a while I was like, okay, let me keep it on the low. Just keep people asking, and it's like cool. It's like, oh my god, what is that? They're trying to find it, and then eventually it's just the point where like you'll never ever find that jacket. Like maybe on eBay. You know what I mean? But it's cool, man, and that's it's cool you brought that up because I have a lot of people, like I would say every week somebody asks me, yo, man, what jacket is that? So, yeah.
And then, you're definitely known to be a pretty fashionable guy, and I know you actually style yourself, and I see you swooping your hair there. Your hair,
the swoop life, bruh.
I know
swoop, swoop.
You often consider hair to be, a person's best accessory.
I agree.
And in addition to some shaping cream, you also have Jacqueline to thank for that, right?
Yeah, man. He knows his stuff, man. Yeah, man. So the homegirl Jacqueline James, she's my barber, stylist, everything as far as the hair goes. She's cool as fuck, man. She's like I think she's like 30, but she looks mad young, and she's just been cutting hair forever. Like she was cutting hair before she was able to, you know what I mean? Like
nice.
Lives this shit. And so she cuts my hair, my brother's hair, my homie's hair. And she's super cool, man. And yeah, like I really think like my thing, like when Miley Cyrus cut her hair, everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's amazing!" And I'm just like, "Nah, I'm over it."
No?
You know what I mean, like you could take the hottest girl ever, cut their hair, and I was like, "Not for me anymore."
Not feeling it.
You know what I mean? It's a personal thing. You know what I mean? So that's it. But yeah, man. So you'll occasionally see me going. Occasionally,
exactly.
It's like it's a habit.
Yeah. Now, what can you tell people about Profit Money and Illeague Entertainment?
Wow. So dope that you brought that up. So so when I was a freshman, Borman Hall, Urban Diner Radio, the homie Mule, I linked up with some other local cats. And at this point, like Mule was like up there, my homie 66240, Ace Beans, Nauseous were like local artists that were doing it that I look up to. So we were like street team for them, passing out flyers. And so through the little street team thing, I linked up with my homie Profit Money, my boy Holt Dizzy, my dude CFX, and we all formed Illeague Entertainment. This is like 2005 now, mind you. You know what I mean? This is still in the days of me wearing like all over print 3Xs and like Nike Dunk SBs and New Eras. Yeah. And so I'm this young kid. I don't know what's going on. Just like having fun with it. Illeague Entertainment. We did like local shows and stuff. And it was like the NBA logo, but it had a microphone instead of the NBA logo. Like it was a guy on a mic, but it looked like an NBA logo.
Right.
And it was cool, man. And it's like those are still the homies. My boy Holt Dizzy is like one of my close friends. Profit Money still produces. He's a crazy producer. He's in the military. And my boy Chris FX is that. I mean, he's just like. There's all these are good dudes,
Yeah.
So it's cool to build with them. And shout out to homie B- too. B- was always a supporter. And it was funny around that time. Just a little sidebar. Because I know you like the cool facts.
Absolutely.
The homie B- was the first person, we were boys, to diss me.
No kidding.
And it was because I released like a video or a song. And then he dissed me, and he was talking about how he was like something about me having acne and something else, and it was really weak, and I just didn't respond, and and then he came up to me a week later, and he was like, "Yo, man, you ain't responding to my diss," and I'm like, "Man, me not responding was the response."
Yeah.
And so he was just like, I get it." So that's like, still to this day, I'm not really interested in the whole battling or dissing people.
Not really,
but it was funny, and now we're just homies ever since. So it's cool, man. And
it's
great
that it worked out.
Right, and it's my roots, and it's where I come from. And I'm, if you notice, I'm always holding down West Virginia, and repping WVU, the Mountaineers. So it's great, man.
Yeah, and speaking of your West Virginia roots, Profit Money and yourself put out a mixtape called The Wake Up Call way back when.
It was more of an album, actually. It was all original stuff.
Oh, yeah,
We recorded it in my dorm room and in my basement. Like there was a basement in our first crib, and it was like the homies were selling drugs out the crib, and there was this old shower that didn't work, and we used the old like cement shower wall as the booth.
Wow!
And Holt Dizzy mixed the whole thing.
That's crazy.
And Profit Money produced everything. I produced a few jams on there.
Okay.
And it wasn't online at all. It was all physical sales.
Yeah.
And it was cool, man. It was the first time, and it was just like I did that. And I went back to when I was doing Don't Flatter Yourself, I was like, all original shit.
Yeah.
And to have the very, 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 very first underground, independent, hand-to-hand shit being, like all original shit, it was like, I have to, again, get back to the roots and really, prove something that, we got the original shit.
Yeah, and again, mentioning the roots, it featured your guys' remix to Country Roads, and that song ended up being kind of like your first big break, right?
Yeah, man. So John Denver has a song called Country Roads, and it's about West Virginia. And, West Virginia doesn't have a lot of shit. So the little that we do have is very cherished. Like, West Virginia Mountaineers, the University of Mountaineers, like, is the squad. It's like our NFL team. You know what I mean? The Charleston Power. Like, we have a D-League, Farm 3-level team, Charleston Power. But we rep it,
Yeah.
And so John Denver wrote a song about West Virginia called Country Roads, and we remixed it, and it was the first time anybody remixed it, and it was a hard flip. There wasn't just loopable places.
Yeah.
So Profit Money did that, and then we kind of became known for it.
It even got featured in like the highlight reel of the,
exactly.
of the football team that year.
I forget the dude's name, but he did a highlight reel, and it got a lot of love.
Yeah,
and,
I think it's up to like 270,000 views.
Exactly. And back then, 5,000 was huge.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, and that was the beginning. And I've been talking, me and the homies, like, man, maybe we should do like a new Country Roads trap remix or something.
Right.
Like, folk trap is the new shit. I'm about to drop a folk trap song.
Okay.
So, we might
Under David Morris?
No, actually, Young Left Hidden Broke EP.
Okay.
David Morris shits. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Anyways, but yeah, man, so that's where it all started, Country Roads Remix. That was the first song. I was like, wow, like, we can do records where people, like, on a wide level like it.
Yeah. And then, speaking of country songs, if I'm not mistaken, you actually performed a karaoke version of Friends in Low Places at a wedding a while back.
I did. Wow. Yes.
But you also have friends in some high places as well. Like, for example, you had a cameo in Big Sean's video for My Last.
Yep. And did so. First of all, Friends in Low Places is Garth Brooks' song, classic, amazing song. I'm a big fan of like all types of music, so that's a great record.
Yeah.
And then yeah, man. So I'm from West Virginia, moved to New York. New York moved to LA. Linked up with my former management, and they were tight with a lot of people. Big Sean, the homie Diggy. So made some cameos,
Yeah.
And it was cool, man. It was great, and all those dudes are super cool. And that was just another motivational thing, is like being homies with them and be like, yo, man, these dudes are just like me. They're cool. You know
Definitely.
what I mean? It's like if they can do it, I can do it. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, man.
And then your own video for 2,000 Miles is now playing nationwide in Journeys.
Yeah, man. A couple friends of mine hit me up like, yo, dude, I work at Journeys part-time, and I saw 2,000 Miles. So we did a little digging, and basically the music manager for Journeys, the international or just corporate, they heard the record, loved it, and it was playing, I guess, for like April and May or something in Journeys nationwide. So friends of mine were like, bro, I just sat in Journeys for 26 minutes and waited, and it came on, and I flipped out, and I took a picture, and they sent it to me and stuff. So it was cool, man.
That's sweet, man.
It was great, man.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And interestingly enough, your first job was actually in retail clothing, right? PacSun?
Yeah, man. The first job was in PacSun. I was 16, 17. I met my first like serious girlfriend there. Like, she was a customer. She walked in, and I was like, damn. So I was in the sneaker department, man. I was in the back of the sneaker department, and I was slanging shoes. At this point, I'm like big, and I like. When Super dropped and had the first Sky Tops, like, I had them shits. You know what I mean? When DC dropped and when Costin dropped the new Pro thing, when P-Rod started dropping, I was all over. So I was, like I said, big into skateboarding. And I was, like, selling shoes. I was, like, the bestseller employee of the month and shit. And they wanted, I guess, to promote me to, like, manager. And I was, like, 17. I was like, man, I got to go to school, man. What's going on? Like, they were like, yeah, man, we're going to give you some more responsibility. And I was like... So,
no thanks.
No thanks, exactly. But it was cool, man. It was great.
Yeah.
It's the first job.
Yeah. And lastly, you've certainly come a long way since then. Yeah. At this point in your career, do you consider music your life?
Man, absolutely. Not only do I consider music my life, but I feel like music is life. You know what I mean? Music, it's a soundtrack to your life. You know what I mean? Like, you wake up in the morning, and maybe you're vibed out, so you're gonna put on some indie music. You have to go to the gym, so you turn up, you listen to some like EDM dance music.
Yeah.
Later on, you're trying to cool out, you want some music on in the background, you turn on the oldie station. Later that night, you're going out with the homies, you're turning up. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what I did with DFY, with Don't Flatter Yourself, was I wanted to have a little something for everybody.
Everything.
I wanted to be a soundtrack. So like, I feel that music is life. So like, my life, your life in general. Like, people don't really understand. Like, music changes the mood. It sets the tone.
Yeah.
And Yeah, man, absolutely. Music is my life, and I thank you for supporting and for letting me
yeah, absolutely,
hop on here.
man. Thank you.
Absolutely, man.
It's great
My dude.
chatting with
Yes,
you.
sir. Absolutely.
Best wishes with everything coming your way.
Thank you, sir.
Is there anything else you want to say to the people out there watching?
Man, summer 2013 right now. We're on tour, the Young Love Tated and Broke tour. Me and my homie DJ E-Train. And we're getting ready to go on Lansing, Michigan, and about to drop the Young Love Tated and Broke EP. Music is my life. It will continue to be for probably like 40, 50 years. I'm going to be like Bob Dylan, 70 years old. They're going to date back to this interview and be like, remember when he called it? He was going to be around this long. Anyways, man, so thank you guys. Love y'all. See you soon.
There you have it. Once again, I'm Damon Campbell, and this is DY.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
Hey, man. Great interview, man.